So if a student, sporting events aside, wanted to get into the world of events, what advice would you give them? What's the best place to start? For example, if they were starting work in a hotel, what is the best
well, actually,
department?
I do think a hotel background is, it is great because they generally have a sort of wide variety of experience of anything from working on reception or housekeeping or F&B or, guest services. So they're used to hospitality, which is generally a big part of events. They understand the whole sort of F&B side of it. So it is a great background to get into it. But I would say if they're passionate about going into events, they need to probably sort of get out and get experience of actually really delivering an event rather than kind of being the venue of it. I think a lot of hotels they have the kind of event management side, but they're rarely responsible for actually delivering. They're kind of looking after the client.
You're a true event professional. You have many years experience in event management.
Many years.
So you're still young. Project planning. What skills do you think graduates today are lacking within?
I think quite a lot of them haven't experienced events themselves, so they don't necessarily know what excellent looks like. If you're really striving to deliver world-class, top quality events, if you haven't been lucky enough to experience it, either through delivering it or receiving it, then you don't know what it looks like. So it's quite hard to direct other people to deliver something that you're not sure what is excellent. So I think, the more they can experience kind of quality service, really sort of top quality delivery, that's always going to stand them in good stead.
I like the way you use the two words quality service. So what advice would you give them? Where should they experience this? What is there a particular department, that, let's say, an event management graduate should start within a hotel, like room service, banqueting?
I think actually all those kind of give a good idea of what you're trying to, in events you're trying to make your clients feel comfortable and welcomed, and all that is integral to a hotel background. I think probably hospitality events would be a great place to start, and a fairly easy stepping stone from hotels kind of into maybe hospitality at big sports events, and then sort of grow on from there. There are obviously events where hospitality kind of doesn't play a part, or areas where it doesn't necessarily play a part, but it would certainly be a good place to start.
So what do you think hospitality management institutes today should be doing better, or maybe they're not doing it at all, in order to prepare their graduates for the world of events management?
That's an interesting one. I think, probably sort of just giving them as much experience kind of on the ground as possible. There's nothing like, a live event to give people experience it. I always say to people, when they're not terribly experienced, your time is going to go about 5 times faster than you think it will. You look at a run sheet and you think, oh, it'll take us a while to get through that, and it will go so fast. And it's not until you've actually done events and worked events that you realise. And there's no exercise that can prepare you for how fast things move when you're really running a live event. So just get out there and do it.
Because at HTMi Hotel Management Institute, we have the Centre for Events Management Training. And as I told you, within a year, we're organising probably over 100 hotel events. Where students at all levels, from first year all the way up to MBA, get the experience of organising an event. But we focus a lot more on the practical aspects than the theoretical. would you agree with that there's more emphasis placed on practical, than the theoretical to gain that experience, see what the
I think
organising
sort
is
of
about?
more complex events where you've got several elements coming in. So it might be, logistics and building sets and, something that perhaps takes place outside a hotel environment where you're living in an existing venue. You've got F&B facilities on site.
Mm-hmm.
That generally is relatively straightforward. But if you're having to, for instance, build marquees, kind of put field kitchens in, organise all your deliveries, the complexity of an event like that is really something quite different. And that's where you need really, really good planning. You've really got to understand sort of how everything comes in and the timelines for that, because time is money and everybody's looking to cut the costs down, but you've still got to deliver a perfect event. So, it's more difficult doing it outside a hotel environment for sure.
Well, it's nice to hear that from a fellow event professional, because something I constantly try and teach my students, is the whole planning of an event, meeting deadlines, because there's, if you take a wedding, for example, there's so many different departments dependent on other departments, and within a real hotel, you have maybe 5-10 weddings all happening on the same day.
Yes.
So they have to plan and meet their deadlines so carefully.
I mean, I can't emphasise enough that planning is absolutely the secret of a well-delivered event.
You've very kindly taken some of our HTMi students as volunteers, and they've been here now for 2 weeks during the planning stage before the Olympics opens. What experience do you think they're going to gain from this whole fantastic opportunity they have working for the Olympic Organising Committee?
Well, I hope they'll come away with, firstly, having had a great experience, because there is almost nothing else on the scale of this. So they'll be concentrating on sort of small parts of it, and they're in for a very steep learning curve. To kind of get up to speed with the short amount of time they have is, I imagine they go away at the end of the day with their heads just buzzing, because we tend to speak a slightly different language. Everything is acronyms and all that. But they're doing brilliantly, and I hope they'll come away just thinking, that was fantastic. That's what I want to do. I mean, that would be just great. But they've certainly got fantastic work ethic, and they're picking things up really fast. So we're thrilled to have them.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. I just want to finish off. One thing, I teach my students is always be prepared for a crisis. Crisis management. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. You've firstly got to think of all the things that could go wrong, and have a plan for them, and importantly, how you're going to communicate them in something like this to the rest of the business. If you have the opportunity to exercise those things going wrong or to rehearse them, that's also terrifically valuable. Certainly in this country, we've always got to have weather contingency plans. But yes, I mean, you've always got to be thinking about what can go wrong and what you're going to do to mitigate it or to deal with it. And then, whatever you've thought of, there'll probably be something else that will come up and you'll be like, oh, we didn't think of that, but we've got a plan to do this, and we can alter that plan so we can kind of deal with it. And it's about your people having confidence that they know what to do, they know how the thing is going to run, and they can make decisions on what needs to happen to mitigate whatever your problem is.
Right. Well, Jules, thank you so much for taking the time from your very busy schedule.
Not at all.
I think there's 31 days.
There's a lot less than that for us. We move into the hotel in 2 weeks' time, so we're up and running in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And it's 31 days till the opening
31
ceremony.
31 days, the opening ceremony.
So I wish you all the very best of luck, and
Thank you
I
very
hope
much.
London has a fantastic summer.
Thank you.
And a very successful Olympic Games. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.